Forgive me while I am just waking up. And yes, I sleep with my eyeliner because it's waterproof. The eclipse. Okay, there's a lot. It's eclipse season, a lot of intense energies. And I just wanted to clarify something that might not be already very clear to some of you guys. The main thing about the eclipse is, if you didn't know already, you probably sensed it, is it feeds and focuses on our shadow self. So that means not only our shadow self, but others. So everyone's shadow. Now, if you don't know your shadow self, then I highly recommend you start working on it, and that is by doing shadow work. That's looking at your inner self that you bury, that you try not to let seen or even felt. Feelings that you try to bury, emotions, memories, reactions. These are things that you do to protect yourself, your ego, your pride, your life. And until you do some really good deep shadow work, you'll never be able to transform into your true identity or your true self, or really come to say you are an evolved, mature human being. Not from my position. It's when I work with my clients, that is the number one and oftentimes the last work that we have to dive in and accomplish before you're truly where you are meant to be. Because that's where you see some of the ugly parts of yourself. It brings us the necessary healing, humility, and kind of climactic endings that we need in order to fully come into our purpose and what we're meant to do, who we're meant to be. All of that is stifled and not truly at its strongest if we've not taken care of our shadow self. It's like psychologically, if you have trauma or you have old wounds that you've not had therapy for, if you've not healed for, that's the equivalent to shadow work, but for spirituality. For those of us that are spiritual, that's kind of our therapy. Shadow work, if anything, is better. I've had both. I've had full-blown good therapy, psychologists work with some of the EMDR and PTSD that I've had and done from trauma. And the most progress that I've had was through shadow work. And so that's the best thing you can do during the eclipse. Some people recommend not doing the work because your shadow is already going to be provoked. It's going to be surfacing whether you want it to or not. So it's going to be at its most vulnerable, kind of drunken self. You know, when you drink too much, you're kind of unstable, you're not trusting, you don't know what's going to happen, there's not stability, it's kind of a liability, there's so many different ways to look at it. Under the eclipse, it is given too much power that many believe it's not the best time to try to taper it down and try to get it under control with some therapy, shadow work. It's like forcing a screaming toddler to settle down. Some people believe you can't do that. I personally think it's the best time to do shadow work because that's when you're upfront with it. That's when you see it. And a lot of people have a hard time, especially those that will have a hard time acknowledging their shadows. This is the best time to do the shadow work because it's kind of bluntly in your face. If you can't really deny it, especially if you do it with other spiritualists. You could do it with each other, and really you could see it front and center during the eclipse, more so when it's not the eclipse season. So if you're ballsy enough, if you've not done necessary shadow work in your life, if you've not graduated from that, I would recommend doing it. It's not for the faint of heart, I think, but it is for those who truly want to take advantage of some powerful energies and powerful changes. If you're the type that wants to get it over with and you're not looking forward to doing a deep dive in your shadow self, this is the best time to do it, because it's going to be a quicker process than if you were to do shadow work outside of the eclipse season, when you're having to dig deeper and it's not so strongly amped up by the energies of the eclipse. So if you're the type that just really wants to get therapy over with, let's just get this hour done and over, then I would do it now with the eclipse, because it's going to be a lot easier. The whole thing's not easy, but it'll be less of a hassle to dig up those things with them already provoked as they are already. That being said, be aware that there's people that are going to be showing their ugly selves because their shadows are going to be provoked front and center. Weak people will be the ones that are showing it more than others. Emotionally intelligent people and individuals will have a little bit more control over their emotions and shadow selves. Priestesses, divine people that have really mastered their divinity and mastered their skills, you shouldn't really see it. They'll have it controlled, they'll have it checked, but those are the ones that are probably doing a lot of rituals during this time. There's so many good rituals I would recommend. But either or, I'm sure many of us might fall off the wagon. We're human, especially busy working moms like myself. Even though I am a priestess and I went through my whole process, I'm still human. I slip up. I still get annoyed. I still let my ego ruin things occasionally. So this would be the season where that's likely. But more so, I need to be keeping that in check. But other people who are weak, emotionally, intelligently, they're going to be nasty. And you're going to just I'm giving you a heads up to expect that. Expect some weird nastiness. Now, if you're the type of person that you don't give anyone grace, like if you're dating someone new, this is going to be a really easy time to really know if the person's for you or not. And I'll probably do a separate quick video on just that, because I don't know how many of you made it this far in the video, but it's a good point that if you're dating someone new, this is a perfect time to know. Now, it's also a time, if you're picky and you don't give people grace and you realize that, you're not perfect either, you might just easily dump someone because of this period when they're showing their worst parts without acknowledging, you are not perfect either. So again, it's a double-edged sword in this season. So use your discernment, try to stay centered, but just know you're going to need more patience and understanding and giving more people grace than you otherwise would any other part of the year.